It's not my best look, but I wanted to talk about Etika. Now, I've got an airplane outside. Um, I know what I'm familiar with suicide. I've always wanted to do it when I was in high school. I grew up with very abusive family members. My father was a very abusive man, not sexually abusive, short of sexual abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. I mean, he used you know, the razor strap, the belt on the back of his hand. He drank a lot. He drank for most of my childhood. I had older sisters. There's one celebrity who she knows who she is. She loves Cinderella because of the story of Cinderella and Prince Charming. And I, I dealt with Cinderella's stepsisters, my older sisters who fought for attention. My dad was the bad guy, my mom was the good person. And my sisters would fight for attention, except my mom was the perfectionist. And she wanted everything a certain way. And she would verbally abuse me as well. So I kind of like to my whole family. I had a hard time in high school. I felt like it was it was rough during high school. I felt like I I felt violated like in so many ways. My dad asking me about my grades in school, having a temper, having this was a man who was not remarkable. If you want to know what my dad was like, look up Tom Lakis. Tom Lakis, the guy who was on the radio, and Drunk Dad. And that's kind of like what my dad was like. And my mom was that perfectionist mom who just like Marge Simpson had to have everything her way. And think of Cinderella's stepsisters. And that was my whole family. My brothers died. I just didn't have anybody else. I had an angry cousin who looked like me but much more handsome, a little bit taller, and he was like a thug and he pushed me around. Kids at school pushed me around. I had a hard time in high school. All my life I tried to find purpose. Um, Etika's problem was that I suppose, like according to Richard Review Tech, he had porn on YouTube, he had racial slurs on Twitch, he got into Twitter wars, I think, fighting with the internet, and then he committed suicide, I guess, maybe a day ago, and they found his body today. So he committed suicide 1 or 2 days ago. So this is a popular YouTuber who seemed to have like millions of followers, and now he's gone. Uh, and I saw the re-upload, but YouTube is taking them down. I can understand from one point of view why YouTube would take them down. I will defend one point is that YouTube may think that if somebody sees that video, they would um, it would encourage other people to do the same thing. Like when someone shoots up a school, somebody said, "Oh, I want to shoot up a school too." That's the negative attitude. But I think I think most people would look at that and say they would just shake their heads, thinking, "Why?" And this is a good-looking guy. I mean, Etika was more handsome than me. I submit to you, Etika, you could get more girls than I could. And you had that '90s afro, that square, that Theo Huxtable afro. The you look like the guy from the Burger King Kids Club. I'll be nice, but he did look like the guy from the Burger King Kids Club kid, with the square afro. But anyway, no, it wasn't right what happened. It wasn't right that he took his life. But I think of why I wanted to take my life. Now, once I started getting, I mean, my dad abused me even when I was an adult. He died when I was 24, and I didn't look back, and I haven't looked back. But the abuse in my life went beyond my family. It went to the system itself. College, people, like my coworkers, my classmates in school, teachers, authority figures. Right now, right now, I'm here's my situation, okay? I'm poor. I have maybe a couple of $100 in the bank, okay? I have a couple of thousand saved up underneath the house, so that if something goes wrong, if one of my family members pass away, I'm out. I'm out of here. I don't want to live in the ghetto anymore. I've lived in East LA for 40 years, okay? I have every reason and rhyme to take my own life because of the way I've lived. I've suffered. I am here right now talking to you, willing to live. I told my mother I was willing to live despite the hardships I had because I have suffered. But there's never a guarantee that everything's going to be fine. So I had to get away from ice cream trucks. That's another reason for my feeling less than lively. Um, so yeah, no, it's messed up. So I'm telling you now, and just in case YouTube is ever watching this video, I will live, but there's never a guarantee that I want to be on this earth forever, especially if there are still stupid ass people. You know what it is? There are bullies. You know what a bully really is? It's somebody who has an unremarkable life, who is stupid in the head. Okay? Maybe they're a drug addict. Maybe they're obsessive compulsive. Maybe they commit crimes all day long. I committed a couple of crimes myself, but I won't admit to what. I have to move on. I'm not a saint. I'm not a perfect person. I've had a checkered past. I have regrets. I've done dumb things. But I can't blame my family for all that. I mean, there are mistakes that I've made as an adult that I have to take responsibility for. But if I hadn't had such a messed up family, I probably wouldn't have made those mistakes. I wouldn't have been compelled to. You know, some people say, oh, well, my wife drove me to cheat. Sometimes that's true, but you still have to hold yourself accountable, you know. Some people have bad marriages and bad families. They say, well, I better do the right thing. I better get married. I better get married to my co-star from this movie, you know, like Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. Yeah, I had to say that. Or, you know, date your coworker or date the girl at school and hurry up and get married before you're 21. Hurry up, you know. And my parents did that and I suffered for that. My brothers suffered for that. My sisters, I will say they suffered too. But everybody tried to bully everyone else. So a bully is an unremarkable person who has to feel more important. Instead of working hard and getting good grades and doing the right things, they would just rather push other people around to make themselves feel immediately important. And I don't know if that was Etika's case, but I do know that, you know, Etika needed to take a step back, like just look at what he's done. Now, I first listened to Tom Likas. Then I just kind of moved on from that. I kind of graduated and wanted to listen to other people. So I listened to Joe Rogan. I listened to MGTOW people. And then I listened to people like Geeks and Gamers. And then I listened to the left. People who wanted to see the, you know, hold hands, and celebrities who are professional, and then people in the ghetto, and then people who are rich and people who are poor, people who are black, people who are white, people who are transsexual, whether they're transsexual to be a woman or transsexual to be a man, people who are different religions, people who are different heights and ages and sizes, little, you know, dwarf kind of people, like small people, or but big people, all kinds of people. You know, when I wrote my stuff, my fictional characters, they're of all shapes and sizes. So I don't have many regrets about the things I've done as far as productive things. But I will say that the life that I have now, the volunteer efforts that I have now, um, you know, the bad stuff I did was years ago. Never got caught, never wanted to go back to that. And the things that I'm doing now are way more productive. At 41 years old, I felt like this is what I need to be doing right now. So I'm trying to better my life. YouTube, do not take down the re-upload of this video. This is all Etika had left, and I mean, even if the condition to re-upload the video is to put up some sort of a warning to say get help, or put a suicide hotline before the message, or put it right as with the message, you know, yeah, you can re-upload the video without having to encourage others, or enable others to do this. But also at the same time, if we don't look at this, we don't learn. You know, Joe Rogan, you know, he himself would encourage to look at both sides of things. Okay, I look at everybody's points of view. The corporations, the anti-corporations, the Jim Sterlings, the NES Punk. I look at a lot of YouTubers. The ninjas and PewDiePie's not so much because they're famous. But I look at everybody, and That's why. And you know, I guess you could say I've fallen in love with someone recently too. Um, though she's more of a princess. Um, she's somebody that a lot of people know. She knows who she is. And even though I've fallen in love with someone who seems intangible, I can't give up. I can't give up on her until it's too late. So I said to her, I won't say her name. Most people would know, figure it out. But I said to her I would wait for her until she finds the guy of her dreams, the man of her dreams, and she's young, a lot younger than me, but that's why for her, for you, if you are watching this, and for my volunteer efforts, because I'm going to library work now, and I'm doing some art, I'm doing some fan art, I'm doing some regular art, I'm doing some storytelling. Um, I'm going to work in another city, and I'm going to try to do two volunteers so I can get a part-time job, so I can get, you know, back to things. Um, but again, I'm trying to get my life back in order, and I would appreciate, you know, when you watch Etika's video, I want you to watch mine as well. Review Tech USA is not going to do a video about this. He's already done it, said his piece. My advice for other people is that don't let Etika's message enable you. Look at my message, listen to all kinds of people, and then make up your mind what you should do with your life. That's all I got to say about that. So I got some work to do. I'm doing a Faye McCoy art, and I'm doing something very special for that special girl that I have fallen for the 4th of July. So until then,